Now, live with Greg Olson, Director of the New York State Office for the Aging.
Hi, everybody. My name is Greg Olson, and I'm the Director of the New York State Office for Aging. Before I start the show today, we've been looking over the metrics. I want to thank everybody who passes the information on to others through our social media. What we found really interesting, and we're reaching 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people with each show. But what we saw is on our YouTube page, 99% of the individuals who are watching the program do not subscribe to our YouTube channel. So just click subscribe, and we'd love to, again, continue to have you along. So we are quickly moving into the holiday season. And one of the things that the holidays are obviously known for is getting together with friends and family, usually around food. However, food insecurity and hunger are real for a lot of people of all ages. And today we're going to be talking about food insecurity and the many organizations that conduct holiday food drives and similar efforts this season, as well as benefits you may be eligible for. For those on fixed incomes, food insecurity is a year-round struggle. Thankfully, there are many programs available across New York State to help individuals and families not be insecure and not be hungry. So what is food insecurity exactly? So it's a term that the USDA uses, but what it really means is when somebody does not have enough to eat and doesn't know where their next meal is going to come from. And 1 out of every 4, 25% of adults experience food insecurity throughout the year. The bottom line is that for many New Yorkers that need support to put food on the table, food assistance programs can provide that support. And those supports include SNAP, also known as a Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. We'll talk about that. Food pantries, emergency assistance programs, and those are for individuals of all ages. For older adults specifically, NYSOFA and its network administers the largest nutrition program in the country, serving more than 23 million meals annually to almost 300,000 people. This includes home-delivered meals, grab-and-go meals, congregate meals, and others. We also offer benefits assistance to help individuals put money back in their pocket. One of the major priorities of Governor Hochul is around affordability, and older adults nationwide leave $66 billion of benefits that they've earned and that their taxpayer dollars have paid for on the table. So that's what we're going to focus on today, and we're really excited to do that. But let me introduce a real special guest that I have here with me today to dive into this subject a little deeper. She is our very own Jennifer O'Keefe, who's been working at the office for many, many years. Jennifer is a nutrition consultant, and she heads up our food safety efforts in collaboration with the New York State Department of Health. Jennifer, thanks for being here.
Hi, Greg. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It's a beautiful day in New York State, and I'm happy to be able to share information about food insecurity and how to become food secure.
That's great. And I know you'll do a bang up job as you always do. So remember, anytime during the program, if you have any questions, especially for Jen, who's got a long history and a lot of experience and expertise on hunger, food insecurity, please put those in the chat. So first, Jen, let's start with this. What kinds of food assistance programs are out there for older adults in New York State?
Well, Greg, today I would like to highlight 5 programs, and those are SNAP, food pantries, congregate meals, home-delivered meals, and the soup kitchens. These programs help older adults obtain not only fresh, frozen, and shelf-stable foods, but also ready-to-eat meals.
And so, again, with your background, let's talk about why, healthy eating and good nutrition is paramount, not only for children, but for older adults.
So healthy eating is really imperative if you want to try to live as long as you can, I guess, is what my goal is. So in order to have your body function properly every day, it needs a certain amount of protein, vitamins, minerals, fiber. All your cells need to rejuvenate, your heart needs to pump, and that takes a lot of energy inside your body. So if you provide a healthy diet every day, it allows your body to be able to function and work properly. Uh, so food security is an important part of this. If a person is food insecure, it not only has physical, um, issues, but it also has mental issues as well. So if a person's food insecure, they may choose to buy cheaper foods that have less nutrition or higher in calories, high in empty calories. Um, so we want to try to provide them with the benefits and the food that they need so that they feel food secure. Food insecurity also has its mental effects on people, where they may actually be overweight, but that does not mean that they're nutritionally adequate inside of their bodies. They may, overeat unhealthy, low calorie, high calorie, nutrient empty foods in large amounts because they're less expensive. So we want to be able to provide resources where they can purchase fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, high fiber foods, and then give them the information about how to cook those foods, how to prepare those foods.
Yeah, which I think is really, really important. And you made some really great points here. Not, good nutrition is also really important in managing chronic conditions. If you're coming out of hospital or rehab, the ability to have good food so that you heal quicker. But you talked about costs. Right. And everybody's been in the grocery store and you see strategically where the cheapest stuff is. It's right when you walk in on the end of the displays that are really not nutrient dense foods, but they're affordable for many families. You talked about, fresh, frozen, and shelf stable foods and how important they are. How can an older adult obtain those types of things?
So the two programs that I've mentioned out of the 5 that could help people obtain the fresh, frozen, and shelf stable foods would be the SNAP program and food pantries. So I'll kind of explain what the SNAP program is. The SNAP program stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It was formerly known as food stamps, but now it's got a catchy name. It's called SNAP, which I love. So this provides food assistance to nearly 1.8 million low-income New Yorkers. The program helps families and individuals supplement the cost of their diet with nutritious foods. SNAP applicants that have been approved for the benefits will receive an EBT card in the mail, and the EBT card will receive benefits once a month. So the EBT card is similar to a credit card or a debit card that can be used in grocery stores. It can be used at farmers markets. It can also be used online to purchase groceries. So it can be used like cash to purchase food. The benefits are used in grocery stores, farmers markets, and these foods are essential to health and well-being.
Jennifer, in a previous job, I did a lot of work trying to get older adults applying for the SNAP benefit. And there's a lot of reasons why older adults don't do that. Many think that the benefit is very small. Others think that, if they receive the benefit, then somebody that might need it more isn't going to get it. None of those types of things are true. Can you talk about what the average SNAP benefit is for an older adult who's eligible?
Okay, so the average SNAP benefit for an older adult who is eligible, according to what I've been able to find, is about $108 per month. So applying for the SNAP benefit, it not only will help the older adult receive the nutrition that they need every day, it'll also help the farmers. It'll also help the local grocery stores. It'll also help the state because you're tapping into federal dollars and it's coming into the state, and you're not only supporting yourself, you're supporting your local communities. And it is a decent benefit, and it's easy once you, are determined eligible. You can, you get your card in the mail. You can use it in grocery stores, farmers markets, online grocery. As far as eligibility, to determine if you're eligible, you do have to apply for SNAP. So this would be an application that you would fill out. The amount of benefits received depends on the household size, expenses, and income. Each application is evaluated on an individual basis. So basically, the bottom line that I would like to get across is that you should apply for SNAP if you need help paying for food. So apply for SNAP.
And I'll go a little bit further than that, because there's not only SNAP, but there's things like HEAP, which provides up to $1,000. There's the Medicare Savings Program, which can put up to $7,000 back in people's pockets. And I know from a single older adult household, the average benefit for SNAP is over $200. So imagine an additional $2,400 on top of that. So just those three programs alone can provide savings to an older adult of $11,000 a year. And, as you talked about, it's not what we thought it was back in the day. You get an EBT card. It's very easy to use, and it can help you really provide the nutritious meals that you want to. The state has made some changes, some real positive changes over the years. And one of them has been to streamline the SNAP application for older adults. Can you talk about what that entails?
Sure, I'd love to, Greg. So yes, New York State has streamlined the SNAP enrollment process to make it easier for older adults to participate. There's a program called SNAP ESAP. And what that stands for is Early Simplified Application Project. And I do have some notes to refer to, because I don't want to confuse this at all, and I want to make it very clear. So the ESAP program is an application and recertification form. It's just 2 pages long, and it's now available for households where every person is age 60 or older or has a disability, and no one in the house has earned income. The ESAP application has less frequent certification periods. Approximately every 3 years, you would have to recertify. So that is the quick SNAP ESAP program. There's also special rules for seniors who live in households. And one of these special rules is that an older adult can be categorically eligible if the older adult is disabled, or this is for older adults or disabled households with a gross income of 200% of the federal poverty level. So to put this in real terms, this would be in 2024, 200% of the federal poverty level for a household of one is $2,510 per month for an individual. So that's one special rule for older adults. Another is that there is higher resource limits for older adults. Those with incomes over 200% of the federal poverty limit may still be eligible. And households with older adults can qualify for SNAP at 200% of the federal poverty level. For example, in 2024, a household of 2 can have as much as $3,407 income per month and still qualify for SNAP. So the bottom line is many older adults who are food insecure and eligible for SNAP do not apply. So please apply for SNAP and find out if you're eligible. There's a lot of information that we can share about how to apply for SNAP. There's a wonderful video with the host, her name is Kyla Snyder, and we provide the link for that to you. And she will take you through ways to apply for SNAP. And really, it's very informative, and she does a great job. So I highly recommend watching that. There's also, one of the easiest ways to apply for SNAP, quick and easy, is through online mybenefits.newyork.gov. That's one easy way to apply for SNAP. If you live in New York City, you can apply through the Access HRA website, or you can apply through the Access HRA mobile app. You can also apply in person at a SNAP office in New York City. You can apply in person at a HRA office or a SNAP center, and there's still paper applications as well. You could call the SNAP office or the Office of Temporary Disability, OTDA. You can check their website and request a paper copy sent to you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned all that. I'm going to reiterate that. There's a couple other ways that people can apply, but I want to start with the videos. So one of the things I'm most proud of here is earlier on in the pandemic, when everything was closed, your local departments, social services, your senior centers, your libraries, et cetera. We worked with a lot of our partners, including Hunger Solutions, which is the SNAP video you're talking about, but there's a lot of other benefits. And what we tried to do is teach people how to apply for these benefits at home, going through line by line, what each question meant, what you're supposed to put in there. And then, depending on the program, if there are any documents that you may need, what those things are, so that literally the application is 99.9% complete, and then can go back to the authorizing agency who can review it and just press a button. So we're going to be providing those links not only for SNAP, but for some of the other ones I mentioned, like the Medicare Savings Program, for HEAP, and there's a bunch of others. But anybody can contact their local offices for the aging. They will also help with the SNAP application. Under Hunger Solutions, they have what's called NOAA programs, Nutrition Outreach and Education programs throughout the state. And their number one job is to get people onto federal feeding programs, which SNAP is one of them, in addition to the ones that Jennifer talked about, which is mybenefits.ny.gov. But there's a lot of people in the community that have expertise. And, it's worth your time, listeners, today or in the future, and as you pass these along, to see if you may be eligible, because it literally could save you thousands and thousands of dollars. So, Jennifer, once a person has applied for SNAP, they're determined eligible. How do they actually use the benefit? So walk me through walking into the grocery store.
All right. So basically, they can use the benefit towards any food item that they would like to purchase. So some surprising items that the benefit covers include seeds and food-producing plants. They can also be purchased with SNAP benefits. In Alaska, even hunting and fishing gear is eligible. And anyone enrolled in the program can use their EBT card to, again, purchase any food that's in the store, at the grocery store, also in farmers markets, and they can use the benefit online. So they fill their grocery cart up with the foods that they choose. Later on in the show, we're going to provide some great information on wonderful recipes that are tasty, nutritious, low cost. So, we always encourage people to go to the grocery store with a list, have an idea of what you want to purchase. Don't go on an empty stomach, which I am guilty of sometimes. So know what you're going to go for. Have an idea of what kind of foods you want to prepare that meal. And again, we're going to give you some great tips about where you can get recipes, how you can learn to cook if you don't know how to cook, if you know how to cook, some great recipes that you might want to try in the future. So go with the list, go with your EBT card, purchase all those good, healthy foods, and then you go to the cashier and you use your benefit card just as you would use, your debit card or your credit card to purchase those foods.
Absolutely. So thanks. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to, Jen will join us back for our second segment. We want to talk a little bit about the almost 900,000 older adult volunteers that are providing almost $14 billion worth of time and service to not-for-profits all across the state of New York. One of those clearly that we rely on is our nutrition program, whether it be delivering meals, working in a congregate site, or helping to prepare. So take a look at this. Thanks. I love that. I want to thank the folks at LifePath right here in Albany for their wonderful facility. We could not function without our volunteers, and many not-for-profits can't either. So if you're interested in volunteering within the Aging Network or any local organization, please reach out to them. They're always accepting volunteers. It's good for you physically, it's good for you mentally, and clearly the people on the receiving end of the gift of your time appreciate it as well. So Jennifer, let's dive back in. We're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about food at food pantries. And where does the food pantry get their food from?
Okay, Greg. So thank you that's a great question. So food pantries are amazing places and resources. Anybody who needs food can go and visit their food pantry. So the food pantries, we're going to just switch gears a little bit because we were talking about SNAP and the eligibility and filling out applications. With a food pantry, basically, how you would find your local food pantry is you go online and you can search for food pantries in my area. And you would locate where the closest one to your house is. So then it would give you the address, the phone number. You would call the food pantry, and you would maybe make an appointment to go in because they only have certain hours that they're open. So they may be open Monday from 10 to noon, maybe Wednesday from noon to 3. So each food pantry is different. And they are amazing places, and anybody who needs food can go to a food pantry. A food pantry is where people can get free food. Some pantries may have additional requirements, like living in a certain area. For example, I live in Albany County, and I believe the food pantry here, the requirement is that you live in Albany County. So the food pantries get their food from the food banks. Most of the food that is donated to food banks is donated by people, businesses, and farmers. The food bank, they distribute the donated food to these food pantries. In New York State, we have 10 food banks that distribute this food to New York State, to all the food pantries. And then the food pantry gives the food directly to the people. Food donations, they come, as we just talked about, they come from people, they come from farmers, they come from companies, businesses. So food drives is one of the highlights that I would like to talk about. Individuals, families, church groups, companies, and businesses start food drives. Food also comes from the farmers. Many food banks have great relationships with their local farmers, from small urban gardens to sprawling rural operations, who donate a portion of their crops to the food bank. These donations help food banks provide healthy food to our neighbors who may not otherwise have access to fresh produce. These relationships are also critical to fight food waste by allowing farmers and growers to donate their excess produce. The third place that food is donated to the food banks and pantries is companies and local businesses donate food. These can come in large or small quantities. For example, they may donate a truckload of milk. They may donate smaller things like extra bread from a local bakery. Restaurants may donate. Contributions from these groups include everything from dairy products to canned goods and meat products. So the food that is going to the food pantry, it's real food. It's also local food a lot of the time. It comes from food banks. It comes from local farmers. And it comes from companies. And then the food bank distributes it, just to recap, to the food pantries. And then the food pantries give the food directly to anybody who needs food.
Yeah, I appreciate all of that. And, for those of you out there, there are food drives going on all the time that are collecting, food. If you have a little bit extra that you can donate, this is where it will go. Briefly, Jennifer, what would you say to somebody who's either intimidated or reluctant to go to a food pantry?
So visiting a food pantry might feel a little scary initially, but friendly volunteers are there to help you. I have visited food pantries through my work. I've been to some senior centers, and they also have food pantries there. It's a beautiful scenario. It's a very welcoming scenario. People are kind. They want to help you. They want to help your families. They want to help the communities. When you arrive, they may ask questions or have you fill out a brief form about your family's needs. So these questions help them give you the right amount of food and can connect you with other programs.
Yep.
To find the nearest food pantry according to your zip code, we have a link, and it's through the regional food bank. Find the nearest agency. At this website, you can find contact information, the food pantry address, days and hours of operation. It's always a good idea to call the food pantry first to see if you need to make an appointment. But please, by all means, times are tough right now. So if you are in the need of, if you need food, if you qualify for SNAP, if you don't qualify for SNAP, you can go to a food pantry, whether or not. So you can qualify for SNAP and still go to a food pantry. If you don't qualify for SNAP, you can still go to a food pantry. So these are places for people to go who need food.
Yeah, so there's a variety of options, and we'll get that link in there so people can find a food pantry near them if they need it. Let's dive in a little bit about what we do. So, folks may not know that the Aging Network across the country really began from the nutrition program that we still operate and oversee today with, our 59 offices for the aging and many of their partners. Can you describe briefly what a congregate meal site is, and what is the cost and eligibility to go to a congregate meal site in New York? There's over 800 of them across the state.
Well, first, I'd like to say the eligibility to attend a congregate meal site is that you be 60 years of age or older. That is the only eligibility.
Yep, I'm going to stop you there just so everybody heard that really clear. Only have to be 60 or over to go. And if your spouse is under 60, but you're 60, they can go as well.
That's right. So congregate meals are nutritious and tasty meals that are served to older New Yorkers in, like Greg said, over 800 community settings all throughout the state of New York. To find a congregate meal site near you, contact your local office for the aging. Congregate sites may call themselves by different names. Each county has a congregate operation, which may have several meal sites throughout the county. Some congregate sites may call themselves older adult centers or friendship centers. Some are called senior centers. Some may call themselves community dining centers. So go online and find out what your county calls your congregate sites. I said and I swore I wasn't going to say through this whole presentation.
Quite all right. I think it was the first time. The other question I asked you was about, these are real meals here, guys. This is not, photographs that you get online. I've been eating congregate meals for 33 years and have never had a bad one. What's the cost for an older adult to get a meal at a senior center or dining site?
So congregate sites, I'll just say again, they are just beautiful, beautiful scenarios. As part of my job, I am fortunate enough about once a month to go to a different county and to go and observe meal preparation and service at congregate sites from Long Island to New York City, over to Niagara Falls, up to Clinton County, Capital District area. So what happens is when you find your congregate meal site and you see, where the location is, you call, maybe make a call and find out, when the hours of operation are. You can ask them, maybe they'll send you a menu in the mail. Maybe they have the menu posted online. Congregate meal sites, as we said, the only requirement eligibility is that you're 60 years of age. When you get to the site, they will ask you to fill out a very simple registration form. It's about 2 pages long. On the registration form, there is a nutrition screen. This will maybe open your eyes to, maybe I can take advantage of nutrition counseling at this congregate meal site, because they do have a registered dietitian on their staff that can provide you nutrition counseling. So you'll fill out a simple registration form. They'll also ask, there's usually a reservation system. So they may have, a day in advance. They'll ask you to register for the meal, maybe 2 days in advance, because this is fresh food that's made either the day before or the day of in kitchens throughout the state. So they'll need to know how many meals they need to make. So when you walk into a senior center, so you have the reservation, you fill out the form. You may notice when you walk in, there'll be a table that will have a locked box, and it'll give you an idea of what the suggested voluntary contribution is. So the suggested voluntary contribution can range anywhere from $1 or maybe $2.50. This is completely voluntary. If you are unable to contribute to the cost of this meal, it's okay. If you can contribute, that's fantastic. But if you can't, it's all right. You can still go. You will not be denied a meal. You are welcome into that site. So you go into the site. Some sites are open before the meal. They stay open after the meal, but they're always open at least 2 hours. They're open an hour before the meal, an hour during the meal, so you can have a leisurely lunch.
Yeah, and many of the congregate meal sites, there are standalones like what you're talking about, but most are within a senior center that offers so many other benefits. So what I saw in the pictures are, combating isolation, connecting with other people. There are exercise programs. There's all kinds of things going on in a senior center. It's not what a lot of people think it is. Maybe going back to the 70s or 80s. So I just want to reiterate what Jennifer said. These are nobody can charge you for the meal. It's a suggested contribution. And they say what that is. And if you can do it, great. If you can't, that's fine too. But I will tell you, last year, through little, $1 and $2 and $3 contributions, which a lot of people do because they're thankful to have this, we raised over $12 million. And what that does is it goes right back into the program to be able to serve more people. So this is a pretty straightforward question, Jennifer, because the name is going to tell all about it. But one of the other components to our nutrition program is the home delivered meal program. So tell me about that. There is some eligibility criteria, not financial, but talk about that and again, the cost of that as well.
So the home delivered meal program is another program that is near and dear to my heart, because also as a part of my job, I go out monthly and I go on a home delivered meal route in different counties all throughout New York State. So home delivered meals provide nutrition and social contact. When preparing meals isn't an option, this service delivers nutritious and tasty meals to an individual's home. Each meal, including each home delivered meal and the congregate meals, meet nutrition standards, and each meal is certified by a dietitian that it meets these standards. All the menus are approved, and they are heart healthy, they're diabetic friendly, they're high in fiber, and this is all the regular diet. They're low in sodium, they're high in fruits and vegetables, low-fat dairy products. Individuals 60 years or older seeking assistance for home-delivered meals can receive a private and confidential assessment to learn whether this service is best for them. On these home-delivered meal routes that I go on, it's absolutely a beautiful experience, and I feel privileged to accompany drivers. So the drivers are often paid, or they may be volunteers, and they are just about the most special people that I've been able to meet in my existence, because they are friendly, they are kind, they are in it for the right reasons. They all have a route. They know their participants. They, will knock on the door. They will deliver the meal to the older adult. They have some conversation. It's also a wellness check. There's interaction. And, I go into all different kinds of scenarios in these homes. And the older adult is just, it's a beautiful program because it helps people stay in their homes and age in place. And there's also a voluntary suggested contribution for this program. So it's, again, you do not have to contribute to this program. But any contribution that you can contribute is very appreciative. The average cost of a congregate or home delivered meal, what it costs to make that meal is anywhere between $10 and $15. And they suggest a voluntary contribution, again, anywhere from like $1 to $2.50. For the home delivered meals, they may send you a letter once a month, and it is not a bill. What it will say is it'll say, hey, so happy that you're on this program. This month, you may have received 20 meals. The suggested contribution is this. If you can contribute, fantastic. If you can't, we're still going to serve you. Of course, you will never be denied a meal. So if you can contribute to the program, please contribute. Otherwise, please enjoy this healthy meal. Some meals may be a hot lunch. Some meals may be chilled food. Some programs may be able to provide one meal a day. Some programs may be able to provide a hot lunch and a cold supper. Some meals can provide weekend meals as well. So it really depends on the county that you're living in and what they're able to offer. So you would want to contact your local office for the aging if you feel that you are a good candidate for a home delivered meal.
Yeah, and so a good candidate for the home delivered. It's a little bit different than the congregate where you can walk in at 60 years old. For a home delivered meal, that's for somebody that can't shop or prepare their own meals or doesn't have anybody to help. And our local offices can assess for that. And if you're eligible or could benefit from the program, they will. I want to let you all know that who's to thank for whether you're getting congregate meals or home delivered meals, and that is a trifecta partnership between the federal government, state government who provides resources, and your county governments and municipal governments. So those are the ones that are pooling all these dollars together under our auspices to be able to provide those. And want to underscore what Jennifer said. For a lot of our home delivered meal recipients, a lot of them live alone, and the only person they may see during the week is their home delivered meal driver who's trained and has that relationship. So they really are the eyes and ears for things that could potentially go wrong. I mean, we've had people that couldn't answer the door and EMS had to be called, and so on and so forth. So it's really, really important. Not only a nutrition program, but a health check and safety check for older adults. So we're gonna take another break. Again, talking about affordability. We have something in New York State called the Medicare Savings Program. We're also in the middle of open enrollment. So let's hear from Heather about the Medicare Savings Program, which can put up to $7,000 in your Social Security checks every year in savings, but also to make sure that you are connecting with our health insurance information counseling assistance program to make sure that you're getting the best plan that meets your needs at the best cost during this open enrollment period. So check this out.
The Medicare Savings Program, or MSP, could save you up to $7,000 annually. Hi, I'm Heather Leddick with New York's Health Insurance Information Counseling and Assistance Program, also known as HICAP here at the New York State Office for the Aging. New York State recently expanded the MSP to include higher income limits in 2023. What does this mean? You and approximately 300,000 other New Yorkers may be newly eligible for this assistance right now. If your income falls within the levels on your screen, please apply today. If your income is just above these numbers, still consider applying. You may be paying for out-of-pocket costs that can be deducted from your gross income to make you eligible. Free, objective, statewide assistance is also available to help you in the application process through HICAP. Simply call the statewide helpline at 1-800-701-0501.
Thank you, Heather. And that HICAP number is both for understanding and matching the correct Medicare Advantage program or prescription drug program, as it is for applying for the Medicare Savings Program, or MSP. So let's get into some questions from the audience. I think we learned a lot today. And the bottom line is, you don't always have to remember all these benefits, but what you do have to remember is where your first phone call should be. And that should be your local office for the aging that will have a lot of this information and can make those types of connections. So what do we got? How can I help serve meals? I love that. A volunteer question. We would not have the service infrastructure that we have without our volunteers and many not-for-profits as well. Jennifer, how can I help serve meals?
So let's see. So how can you help serve meals? So if you're in the community and you're looking to volunteer, there's a variety of different ways that you can volunteer. You could volunteer to work in a congregate meal site. You could volunteer to be a home delivered meal driver. You could volunteer to work at the food bank. You could help, food sorting and packaging, shopping assistance, be a home delivered meal driver. Most food banks list their available volunteer shifts on their website. You could work at a soup kitchen, which is another area that I just wanted to briefly talk about quickly, is the option of soup kitchens, which also, the eligibility is, people who are hungry can go to soup kitchens. So if you are interested in learning more about a soup kitchen, you would want to go online and find out where your closest soup kitchen is. They're also called mill kitchens, and there's very many of them. In my county, we have 17 soup kitchens, so you could volunteer there. The soup kitchens, they receive donated food, and they prepare and provide meals served to people in the neighborhood. And again, there's no cost. You could volunteer at a soup kitchen. And again, home delivered meal drivers, congregate sites, food pantries. Those are all amazing places where you can volunteer. So you could look at your local office for the aging, contact them, ask for volunteer opportunities. You could also contact your local food bank and ask them for opportunities. Where you
there's tons of options, and nobody's going to turn down a volunteer. So if anybody's interested in any of those options, reach out. How do I donate food or money to help feed people?
All right. So there is a variety of ways that you can donate food or money to serve people. So if you want to donate food, you could host a food drive with Feeding America. Food drives are a fantastic way to provide nutritious food to food banks and pantries. They also raise awareness about food insecurity and build a stronger community through collective action. Traditional food drives, as you may be familiar with, allows you to collect food donations. You can involve your family and friends, as well as your workplace or other organizations, to collect canned food or other food items. This allows you to make an impact in the fight against hunger. If you want to donate money, you could make a tax-deductible monetary donation to Feeding New York State, or to make your contribution directly to your local food bank, or volunteer your time or services. We encourage you to contact Feeding New York State.
So again, there are a lot of ways to not only potentially take things out of your cupboard, because I do that. There's a Boy Scout drive in my neighborhood a couple of times a year. Purchasing a couple of extra things. I'll have boxes in supermarkets, and then during the holidays, I think it's $10 to literally buy a Thanksgiving dinner for a family of 4. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. I think we have time for one more question. how can someone learn to cook fresh, frozen, and shelf-stable foods? I like that.
Oh boy, this is a great topic and a great question. So thank you. So let's talk about recipes and videos. I was hoping we were going to cover this. So there's recipes out there and there's also videos. I'd like to highlight the SnapAd New York Recipe Finder, and you can Google that. It's called SnapAd New York Recipe Finder. It's your one-stop destination for easy, healthy, and affordable recipes. Recipes are available for breakfast, lunch, dinner. They have gluten-free recipes. They have breakfast. They have vegan, vegetarian meals. I'll give you some examples of the recipes that you can find. You can find black bean and veggie quesadillas, shamrock power smoothie, fried rice with chicken, turkey chili, hearty beef and vegetable soup, fish tacos, which is one of my all-time personal favorites. Then there's also videos. So say that you go online and you go to SnapAd New York Recipe Finder and you see all these amazing videos. So then you can go to the YouTube channel. So that is NYSOFA's monthly SnapAd New York cooking demonstrations. These are on Facebook and YouTube. So please like our YouTube channel and you can see all of these wonderful, exciting recipes. They feature delicious, nutritious, budget-friendly meals. The program also includes information about the dietary guidelines, meal planning, portion sizes, and much more for older adults. It's called What's Cooking with NYSOFA, and it streams on Facebook and YouTube the final Friday of every month at 1 p.m. It's available on demand anytime on NYSOFA's YouTube channel. So here's an example. Say you're on the SnapAd Recipe Finder and you see a recipe for the fried rice with chicken, which is one of my favorites as well. I just love food in general. So this is a great recipe. Then you can go onto the YouTube channel and you can find Wendy Beckman, registered dietitian, doing a video with from the beginning with all of the ingredients. She's going to cook that recipe. She's going to show you how to make it, and then you can do it yourself. So, you know, it's fun to try new recipes, learn and see how they're cooked if you're not familiar, and then go ahead and give it a shot and try to make some yummy, delicious, healthy, budget-friendly food for yourself.
Yeah, and I'm going to underscore that, and I appreciate the shameless plug for connecting with our YouTube channel. So you've heard that now 3 times, but it's extraordinarily important. We've got professionals like Jennifer and Wendy and Lisbeth. That's what they do for a living. That's what they went to school for, and it's so popular that they've had over 2 million views since we launched this series. So, check that out. Again, it's live, but they're also all recorded, and it's all part of our SnapEd. Just go to aging.ny.gov, and you can see the page right there to get everything that Jennifer just talked about. So, unfortunately, we are out of time. We have a really interesting show. Our next one, it's older adults and legal cannabis. But I cannot thank Jennifer enough for being here, for all the staff at NYSOFA, all of our community partners that are providing nutrition support, benefit support, all of the volunteers. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. I also want to shout out to Spectrum News that covers our March for Meals event every single year and goes on routes with us so we can highlight the value of the nutrition program in all of its components that Jennifer talked about today throughout New York State, because food is medicine and it's really, really important for older adults. As always, I want to thank our communications team, Roger, Alex, and Darren, that developed these amazing professional productions for us. And if I was half as good as them, it would be that much better. But I thank you all for joining us. We'll be back after the Thanksgiving holiday. Share this. Don't be afraid to reach out to get the benefits that you may need, especially around nutrition and hunger. Thanks for being with us today.
What's Cooking with NYSOFA? A new cooking show from the New York State Office for the Aging and SnapEd New York. Each month, registered dietitian Wendy Beckman demonstrates exciting recipes that are quick and easy to prepare and won't break the bank. New episodes premiere on the last Friday of every month at 12:30 p.m. Save time, save money, and eat healthy. What's Cooking with NYSOFA? Streaming on NYSOFA's Facebook and YouTube channels. Live with Greg is a production of the New York State Office for the Aging Communications Bureau. Please join us next time.